Paying tribute to past icons by wearing their jersey numbers is fine and well, but some players have unique and personal stories behind the numbers they choose. For some, it may be a tragic incident, and for others, it might be to remember great players of the NBA's past. In today's video, I take a look at the real reason Derrick Rose wears number 25. Welcome to NBA Insider. Growing up in poverty-stricken areas, many current NBA players recall the days of their youth where they dreamed of getting drafted into the NBA. For some, it was a dream come true, and for others, it was a lost fantasy that vanished, never to come back again. But in both of these instances, there was a common goal. The objective within everyone's eyes was to be the one to finally make it out of the projects and take everyone out with them to live a better lifestyle and overcome the negativity associated with poverty. Derrick Rose is the one who made it out. He grew up in the toughest parts of Chicago, Illinois, but he didn't fall victim to its streets. Whether it was death by gun or a life of incarceration, Rose found his way out of a city that ultimately wouldn't let a majority of its youth escape. But Derrick did. In fact, he was a superstar at Simeon Career Academy, which was a public high school on the city's south side, and excelled in the sport he loved so much. It was the same high school that has produced players such as Jabari Parker, Nick Anderson, and Bobby Simmons. Following that, he played just one season of college basketball for the Memphis Tigers, then was picked first overall by his hometown Chicago Bulls in 2008. He would then go on to become an NBA star and even win an NBA MVP in 2011. And although he would suffer a gruesome ACL knee injury in the 2012 NBA playoffs that would have him sit out for quite some time, he has made a name for himself with the New York Knicks this season. Aside from all of this, it was the fact that he changed his jersey number that would leave NBA fans puzzled. Derrick Rose wore number 1 during his time with the Chicago Bulls, but as soon as he arrived in New York, that number would be changed to 25. Considering the fact that he wore number 1 for the Chicago Bulls and 23 while playing for Memphis in college, it made it seem like he was trying to forget about his past and his hometown. Many people would think there's nothing wrong with this considering NBA players do it all the time, but it wasn't the fact that he changed his number that was amazing, but the reasons he did it for. For Derrick Rose, the number has its own significant meaning, one that derives from his history in Chicago. The real reason Derrick Rose wears number 25, despite what many NBA fans may think, is to honor a talent gone too soon. The jersey number is in honor of Benji Wilson, who was ranked the number 1 basketball player in the country in 1984 when he played at the same high school as Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose first learned of Wilson's story during his freshman orientation at Simeon when he read a book by Wilson's mother, Mary, about her son's life. Derrick had learned a lot about the potential star. In fact, when Derrick Rose was born in the fall of 1988, Benji Wilson should have been preparing for his senior year of college, possibly at the University of Illinois. But the dreams of that ever happening came to an end. Instead, Wilson's life was tragically cut short on November 20th, 1984. During a lunch break just a few steps away from his school, Ben Wilson was shot in broad daylight while walking down the street just months after winning an Illinois state championship. Witnesses of the incident brought Wilson to the nearest hospital, St. Bernard Hospital, which did not have a trauma unit and wasn't equipped to treat him. Roughly 2 hours passed before he was operated on. He would go on to die the following day. He was 17 years old. Before his sudden death, Wilson was regarded as the best player in the country, and his team owned the number 1 national ranking after capturing the state basketball championship in his junior year. In 2009, 25 years after his death, the school officially retired Wilson's number 25 jersey. Ever since his passing, the school created a tradition and an ongoing tribute in which the number was reserved for the best players as a way of carrying on his legacy. Because of this, 15 years after his death, Derrick Rose was given the honor of wearing Ben's jersey number during his time at the school. Back in 2009, during an interview with NBA.com, when Rose was asked about the jersey number, he would say, "I was honored to have that number. Playing here and wearing that number came with a lot of responsibilities. You've got to go out there and play hard when everyone is coming at you. You're on the court almost every possession." Although Derrick Rose was never given the opportunity to claim the jersey number while he was playing for the Memphis Tigers or the Chicago Bulls, he was finally granted his wish with the New York Knicks. After 8 years with the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks point guard now wears his number 25 jersey at the Madison Square Garden, a place where he gets to display the number in front of thousands of fans each and every night, the same place Benji Wilson would have dreamed of playing in. He may no longer be playing for the city he was raised in, but with his new jersey number, Rose is still staying connected to Chicago. He himself said, "I'm not forgetting where I came from. It's my roots and I'll always give Chicago my all. The past is a past, but that number 1 I think will always be stuck with me. It's always going to remind people and give them memories of how I played when I was younger. I was playing reckless and and I was just balling. I had raw talent. Now with the number 25, I think you'll see a more mature player. You'll see the player that you saw toward the end of last year. More under control type of game, and I got a lot more options now this year. That number 1 will always be engraved in me, and it's not going anywhere. 25 is just a new step, and a new step in the right direction. I feel like I'm not done. It's a new start. I feel rejuvenated, and when you put all that together, when I step on the floor, I really don't know what to expect. What I'm doing right now is just preparing myself for something big. Derrick Rose's number 1 jersey will always signify his time in Chicago, a time when he could play recklessly without care. But his new number, the one that he wore for part of his youth, will ironically symbolize how he's grown up. Although many people may think he does it for other reasons, you guys all now know the real reason Derrick Rose wears number 25. Benji Wilson never got the chance to go to college, the NBA, and never even had the opportunity to finish high school. Despite the fact that he has already left the school, Derrick Rose still carries the legacy of Benji Wilson on his back as he plays each and every night on the NBA's wooden floors. In many ways, Derrick Rose is living the life that Wilson never got to experience. The game of basketball was deprived 25 years ago when Wilson lost his life and the chance to carry on with his career. But for Derrick Rose, his memory lives on as a constant symbol of hope. A new team, a new city, and now a new jersey. But the legacy remains the same. And that concludes the video. As always, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If I made any mistakes or missed anything that you felt should have been included, please let me know. Also, if you have any recommendations for future videos such as interesting stories or topics like this, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching NBA Insider.